Hello, Easton, and welcome to the Rabbi's Roundtable. I'm Rabbi Peter Hyman, and we are coming to you virtually still because nobody can get together in the studio or anyplace else. But this too, I pray, will pass. Have an interesting show this morning, and I hope you will find it informative and instructive in many ways. The first guest on the Rabbi's Roundtable this morning is Al Bond. Al Bond, many of you know, is the executive director. Al, what's your formal title?
It's President and CEO.
Ah, sorry.
Which is basically the same thing as executive director.
Yeah, well, that's good. President and CEO of the Avalon Foundation. And as all of us in Easton know, the Avalon is a gem and a jewel in our community. Al and his staff do great work. In many ways, for me personally, it's like the boss is coming to the set. So thank you for all you allow me to do on MCTV. But in all seriousness, Al is joining us because he has some information that is important and timely, and this is a good way to get it out. So Al, thanks for being on the Rabbi's Roundtable. And no, my privilege. And let's talk about what the Avalon is doing with regard to vaccines and the community. So I'll just toss it to you and tell us what's happening.
Very good. So we listen in on the emergency management phone calls, and have been for quite some time because we've been working with Talbot County, especially MCTV, with regard to getting public service announcements out and that sort of thing. And it became increasingly clear that the things that our local health department and health departments across the country, for that matter, were being asked to do were just out of scale with what they could actually accomplish. He did not have appropriate resources to take on the volume of interest in vaccination that is out there. And that's true everywhere, but it's especially true here in Talbot County for two reasons. One is that Talbot County, thankfully, is the healthcare epicenter for the Midshore. So we have a lot of healthcare services available to us, and that means that a lot of people who live all over the shore are working here and required vaccination because they were in the first group.
Yep.
So that's a really big group right out in the front when the vaccine supply is at the least. The next biggest group is the folks who are 65 and older. So we've got these two enormous populations that were being served at the very beginning of the line when, again, the vaccine availability is relatively low and everything is just sort of ramping up. So, obviously that creates an enormous amount of interest in getting vaccinated among a population, many of whom are not particularly adept at the technological things that have to happen to get registered, to go sort of.
Absolutely. Yeah. It wasn't all the registration, or isn't all the registration still being done online? I think it's exclusively, isn't it?
It is exclusively being done online.
Yeah.
Sort of. So that's actually kind of where the Avalon comes in. Yeah, so there was an identified need that the phones were ringing off the hook at the health department, and they did not have enough people to answer people's questions or help them to get pre-registered. So, what we did is we took some of our existing phone lines and actually added a few. Then working with Easton Utilities, who really came in at sort of the last minute and gave us a software platform that would be more like a modern call center than just a rollover line, which is how we were set up before. So thank you.
Very cool.
Once again, you want to, if you want to point to things that work in Easton, you can usually trace it back to Easton Utilities.
Without question. And their CEO, their chief is just a dynamically talented and
the whole team
civic-minded individual. I love him a lot. So
we love working with him too. So between the health department, who gave the Avalon staff all of the training to be able to answer people's questions and get people pre-registered, and eventually we will be actually signing people up for appointments, although we're not doing that yet. We're in the pre-registration process at this point. But
that's terrific.
What we're doing essentially is, for anybody who has an interest in finding their way through this process and does not have good access to the internet, those are the folks that really should be calling the hotline. And I'm going to give you that number.
Great.
I don't know if you can put it up on the screen or anything, but
yep, we will put it up on the screen.
410-819-5641. And that gets you to the call center. You can also call the main line for the health department, and I think you press 2, and that'll route you over to our folks.
Repeat that number one more time.
Yep, it's 410.
Yep.
819-5641.
Okay. And how many calls a day are you getting at this point?
We're getting around 300 calls a day.
Wow.
So
that's serious.
Because there's a lot to consider with this. The phone calls typically last 7 to 9 minutes, something like that. And we're really happy that the wait times are now almost all the time under 2 minutes to get somebody to pick up the phone. So it's been a real game changer in terms of getting the word out to especially the very elderly population that needs the vaccine the most.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
That's been our role. We expect that we're going to be running this call center probably for months. It's going to take time before everybody gets vaccinated. And of course, not everybody needs our help. So it'll probably slow down some. But the reality is there's a lot of questions out there and a lot of anxiety. And so, having a clear explanation of just why things are the way they are, once you understand that, that we opened up to groups of people that were very, very large and the health department is getting some weeks as little as just a few hundred vaccines, and some weeks more hundreds, but not in the thousands yet at all.
Right.
And when 11,000 people are eligible and you're getting 300 this week, guess what? Most people are not going to get it.
That's correct.
So and that's all going to be the volume of vaccine is certainly expected to increase through April to really get up to a scale that we can get to everybody. And we'll see how long it takes, but it's probably going to be into the summer before we really hit everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure, but this is such an important thing that you, as president and CEO of the Avalon Foundation, and your team is doing. I know from just talking with colleagues in the clergy and what I see in various places in the temple and other churches. This is frontline stuff. This is really important. And I hope people will take it seriously and take advantage of what you guys are offering, because it's necessary and it's for everybody's health.
The Avalon Foundation is in the business of building a stronger community. And ordinarily we use arts and culture to accomplish that mission. But I really can't think of anything that is more central to a strong community than the health of the people who live in it. So I feel like this speaks to the mission of the Avalon really well, even though it is a very unusual thing. But if you think about it, we normally run a box office where we receive calls, give customer service, and help people schedule. Usually it's a ticket to a show.
Sure.
From a process standpoint, that's very much like what we're doing right now. It's just the subject matter is utterly different, but from a skill set, we're actually really well positioned to run a call center.
That's really an interesting insight. You're right. It is.
It's kind of the same thing,
Yeah, you're not getting a ticket to a show. You're getting a shot for your health.
Good health. So
no. So we very much appreciate that, and of course your leadership in the community is central and visible, and that's a gift to us as well. Anything else you need to share with us about this?
So I guess that kind of covers the call center. Yeah, certainly in terms of what the Avalon is up to right now, there's been a lot of questions out there about the Stoltz Pavilion.
Yeah,
we ran that November through December. The plan is it's closed right now. It's actually folded up at the moment, but we're coming back with programming starting in March again.
Good.
Program it throughout the pretty much throughout the pandemic, I think is how that's going to be, at least. And we still are working towards a permanent use there too, so that's possible. It's not a guarantee that will happen, but we definitely are reopening in March.
That's good to know. We're thinking about the same thing in terms of what's going on here. Very strange times.
I guess you're about to talk to Don Buxton. I saw him on.
Yes.
Yeah. And they've got some pretty exciting news about what they're up to.
Yep.
The Chesapeake Music was the home for the Monte Alexander Jazz Festival, and now that the Chesapeake Music is going to the Prager Auditorium. The Monte Alexander folks sort of approached us saying, we really need more seats. Can we be involved at the Avalon? So that jazz festival is going to become a project of the Avalon, essentially.
Oh, cool.
And so we'll have, and I think that Chesapeake Music is going to continue to program both chamber music and jazz. So we're just going to have more music in our community, which is not a bad thing. It's a great thing.
That's terrific.
That's terrific. That's a piece that's out there. A lot of people don't really understand the degree to which the Avalon works in the schools with children.
I know that too.
But it's because if you're not actually engaged with the schools, you don't ever see it. But this year has been really challenging for us in that regard because obviously the kids aren't even at school most of the time,
and it's challenging for the kids. I feel so sorry for our students.
I mean it's horrible. What we're asking, not just the kids but the teachers to do.
Of course,
it's not reasonable. They're all really trying their best, and it still is. We need to get the kids back in school.
No question, for lots of reasons.
Right, but, which is why getting everybody vaccinated is so important. But we have been able to take some of the things that we learned through our holiday play and extend that into our ACT program. That's Avalon Children's Theater. So we actually have a virtual. And it was designed. The play was designed to be done, using Zoom.
Wow.
Program that we're doing for 4th to 6th graders, and we also have one that will actually have a live performance in the spring at the Stoltz Pavilion. That is going to be, for 10th through 12th graders. So we're still trying to engage with the kids in the ways that we can, and again, it is certainly more limited than the breadth of our normal program, where we have
of course,
full programs and all kinds of things. But anyway,
but I'm deeply grateful for virtual, because we still get to connect on some level. It's not face to face in terms of direct intimacy, but
it certainly is better than complete
nothing.
isolation. So
exactly. So anyway, anything else you need to share with us, Al?
I guess we're pretty excited that we just got one of the Maryland entertainment venue grants. So that's a pretty big program.
Yep.
And because of the specifics of how the program works and our needs, we got a grant that was $484,000 from the state of Maryland.
That's terrific.
To say that is a game changer for us is an understatement. It is really, really a huge thing in our world. So, we are, we're in a good position again, and believe that we're going to be able to ride this thing out and keep our staff on so that we can do things like the call center and other. So,
that's I'm so proud of you. I'm appreciative for what your leadership does, and of course Susie and Tim and everybody else.
We've got such a great crew at the Avalon.
Yeah, you really do, and
exceptional people. Work with them.
You make a difference in the community in which we live, and this gem of a community that is so impressive, and you add to that. So we have been talking with CEO and president of the Avalon Foundation, and listening to what Al and his staff have been doing to not only keep us stable and sound and sane in the midst of this pandemic, but also what they're doing to enhance and ameliorate our community. So Al, thank you. Send my regards to everybody in the office, and as things come up, you'll come back on and share with us.
Yeah, again, it seems like every time we turn around, something changes. So I'll be back with you, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, please.
I really appreciate what you do.
No, listen, I appreciate you allowing me to do what you have been allowing me to do for. Nick told me it's like over 10 years that we've been doing the Rabbis Roundtable.
I think that's about right. Yeah, it's been a while now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But that's a different topic for discussion. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for what you have, you and the staff have implemented, and we look forward to hearing more, and we're appreciative of your good work.
Very good. Thanks.
Be well, and Easton, we will be back in a moment with more of the Rabbis Roundtable.
The Avalon Foundation and MCTV programming is proudly supported by Chesapeake College. Chesapeake College, your time, your place.
We are MCTV, Midshore Community Television. We want your help in making our station more robust so that we can better serve the residents of Talbot County. So, how can you help? If you are already making video content, submit that content for broadcast to the station. It's free! Are you involved in events, shows, or lectures that would be of interest to the community? We can work with you to figure out the best way to capture those events for airing on MCTV. Be it training, equipment rental, or hiring our production staff to film at a reasonable rate. Do you want to produce your own show? Let us help you get started. Come be a part of this valuable community resource. Email the station at nick@avalonfoundation.org or visit us in the basement of the historic Avalon Theater at 40 East Dover Street in downtown Easton.
And we are back, and welcome again to the Rabbis Roundtable. I'm Rabbi Peter Hyman, Rabbi at Temple B'nai Israel here in Easton, Maryland, and we are not coming to you from the studios of MCTV, although I can't wait to get back into the studio. We are coming to you from my office, basically. So glad everybody's here. And my next guest, a dear friend and community leader, he happens to be the executive director of Chesapeake Music. He is Don Buxton. And Don, welcome to the Rabbis Roundtable.
Thanks, Peter. It's great to be here.
It's always a pleasure to have you. And let's as we talked with in the last session with Al, let's talk about what's happening with Chesapeake Music. What's coming up? I know that you have a number of programs scheduled. How are we going to do this virtually? I guess like everybody else. But go ahead and tell us what's coming up.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. So last spring, we were scheduled to have a competition and, of course, a chamber music festival, and all sorts of jazz concerts that were happening in through there, and everything stopped. So, of course, we were trying to figure out how is this all going to happen. You know, we need to have concerts. That's what we do. So we really turned around on a dime and made everything happen to do all of these virtually. And I don't know if we were the first arts organization to do that, but I think we were the ones that did it really, really early because, of course, we had to do it within a month and get everything prepared to go virtual. Sure. We've had a lot of help from a man named Wei-Song Wang in New York, who runs Skillman Music, who does this internationally, really, to help us put these things together. He's just brilliant. We do have, coming up very quickly in February, a concert that we're calling Rising Stars. And we can talk more about that in just a second, but we also, after that, have a virtual competition, which was postponed. It was supposed to happen last year. We have 5 groups from all around the world that were supposed to come and do a live competition, who are now, it's all going to be virtual. So that was also another sort of magic moment to make all of that happen and try to figure out how are we going to get 3 judges from New York, Chicago, and Oregon, all, looking at these artists perform, judging them during the day, and then announcing winners in the evening. And we give away about $15,000 to $20,000 worth of prizes for that. So it was really complicated. But I think that the virtual is really working quite well for us. So those are the 2 things that are just on the horizon. But first up is the Rising Stars.
Yes, tell me more about that.
Well, the Rising Stars is really terrific. We developed this because we felt that our competition gold prize winners were not getting enough coverage from us. Usually they would come and perform at the Chamber Music Festival immediately following the competition. Mm-hmm. And since we didn't have that, and it was virtual last year, and we're not sure what's going to happen this year, June of 2021, whether things are going to be live or virtual, we said, I think it would be really great for us to do concerts throughout the year, highlighting young artists, competition winners, and people who are on the cutting edge of becoming famous. And so the committee designed a name called Rising Stars, which I thought was just terrific because that really implies that. And the next group of people that we have coming up on our Rising Stars concert are actually, it had nothing to do with our competition, but we're Rising Stars from the standpoint of musicians that have been really doing fabulous work. Cool. Randall Gooseby, as an example,
yes,
was one of the musicians on the concert, just signed a contract with Decca Records.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool. He's so good.
Guys are really right there. I mean, they are right on the verge of exploding. And we wanted to present them before that happened, and be able to sort of jump on that excitement of having somebody like that. Also, what we're really trying to do is create something that shows some diversity. I think it's important for us from a cultural standpoint to show that we have equity in the things we're doing. Mm-hmm. Randall Gooseby is Black. We have other Asian artists and international artists that are performing on those programs. And we just felt it was a really good thing for us to make that happen.
Well, that's insightful and correct, and I think it's going to be amazingly exciting. One of the things that I found when we started to do virtual for the first time way back in March,
right,
was that there's an upside and a downside to everything. The downside is that we're in the middle of this crazy reality.
Yeah.
The upside is that once we started doing virtual live streaming, we had people connect. We had coming to just for instance, I may have said this to you before, but we've had people from all over the country join our services, friends and relatives and people who are interested to see what's going on at Temple B'nai Israel, Easton, Maryland. And people said, we didn't know there was a synagogue in Easton, Maryland, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, we had a similar experience with our Chamber Music Festival last year.
Yep.
Through one of the streaming organizations that we use. We had 160,000 people that tuned in to our Chamber Music Festival.
Yep. From
places that I've never even heard of.
Yep.
And I thought, well, I probably have heard of them, but I mean, they were really obscure places. And I just thought, this is magic. I think moving forward, we're going to do so much more with virtual concerts, live and virtual.
Yep, I've already said that I want, once this is over, and please, it should only end as quickly as possible, but it's not going to happen overnight, obviously. I want to continue the option of people attending virtual services.
Yeah.
It just allows people to connect. I don't know if I've said this on the roundtable before, but when we first started doing this, somebody called me and said, Rabbi, this was wonderful. I love the virtual connection. My husband and I, we stood, we sang, we prayed along with you, and we did it in our underwear. and she was being funny, but she taught me something. They were able to connect and participate, and they didn't have to get dressed or drive to the synagogue and go back. I was really appreciative of that, and I think that's one of the benefits that we've learned from all of this.
There's absolutely something comforting in the fact that you can sit in the privacy of your own home and watch a concert or a sermon or something like that, and not have to go anywhere to do it. I mean, I always look at concerts as being like baseball games.
Oh.
Watching baseball games on TV is okay, but watching a baseball game live is really where I want to be at some point, which I think is why getting back to live performances is it. There's the excitement, the synergy that is generated in the audience. So getting back to live performances
absolutely. It's electric.
It is, absolutely.
A live performance is electric. There's no question about it. How can people watch? Will there be a link? How do they get on to watch all of this?
Well, really, all they have to do is hit our website, Chesapeake Music. The concert starts on, and that's interesting, in February. I think it's February 13th. But if they keep going to our website, they can go to our website and get to that concert for free through our website.
Oh, good.
And they click on our website, they'll have the link right there. The interesting thing about the free concerts is this: they don't come for free. I mean, we have to pay for those things.
Yeah.
Just like you have to pay for everything,
Sure.
When you're doing virtual things at the synagogue, you still end up having to pay for that. Somebody has cameras and everything. So we do ask people to donate as much as they feel comfortable doing while they're watching the programs to help us cover the costs of those things.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
And just make out a check to Chesapeake Music.
And send it in, and we're happy to take it. All of our information's on the website, where to send it, where to go. And actually, it's really easy because they can even donate. They don't have to leave. They don't even have to write a check. They can donate right on our website.
That's true. Yeah, that shows you the dinosaur that I am. I still write checks for everything.
I tend to do that, but more and more people are shopping online. They don't really want to write checks. They would rather go. It's almost a spur of the moment thing. So I think it's really good that they can just, okay, I loved the concert. I'd like to make a small donation, and they write a check. We're also, interestingly enough, with this particular concert, doing a survey, because we really like to hear back from people, and we like to engage the people that are watching the concert. So we will be providing a link for that too, because we'd like some feedback. I think that you get that at live performances, because people come up after the concert and say, wow, that was great, or I don't know, I thought this could be a little better. But you don't really get that kind of feedback from a virtual performance.
Right.
And it's nice to have that.
Right, absolutely. Anything we need to know about jazz concerts coming up in the future?
We are looking at doing a jazz concert in August, probably very early August, like the first week. And that will be part of the Rising Star series as well.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be some young, cutting edge jazz artists that will be coming up. And then we plan on intermixing that with our Rising Stars concerts throughout the year moving on. Not only Rising Stars, but stars that have already risen throughout the year as well. So our jazz program is alive and well.
Well, it's very exciting. I appreciate as a hack musician what you do and what opportunities for music engagement you provide in the community. It's wonderful. We appreciate your leadership and are grateful for what will be, I think, a very inspiring set of programs.
Well, thank you, Peter. I appreciate that.
And you'll come back. You'll come back again, and we'll talk more about as these things unfold and what you're finding. And I think it's important to get this out to the community on a lot of levels. So
especially doing it by virtually like this. I can call me tomorrow and we'll do it again.
Absolutely. Not a problem. Yeah. Don, thank you for being on the Rabbi's Roundtable. We've been talking to the executive director of Chesapeake Music, Don Buxton, and you will be back for sure.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Don. And Easton, we will be back momentarily.
Did you know? MCTV programming is available online. Find our shows like Rabbi's Roundtable, Carlisle's Chesapeake, The Shameless Picture Show, Conversations with Sherry, and the Avalon Theater Presents at youtube.com/Midshore Community Television.
And we are back, Easton, and you are seated at the Rabbi's Roundtable. I am Rabbi Peter Hyman, Rabbi at Temple B'nai Israel. And as I said earlier, we're not coming from the studios of MCTV yet, but hopefully at some point we will get back to a normalcy. I think everybody wants that very badly. Before we conclude this episode, I just want to talk about what's coming up here at Temple B'nai Israel. Those of you who know our schedule, you know that we always do a February lecture series. The Susan and Barry Co-February lecture series this year focuses on contemporary art, abstract impressionism to pop art. And we're going to have 3 sessions in the February lecture series this year. The first is abstract expressionism, artists and critics. The second is seductive subversion, women pop artists from 1958 to 1968. It's going to be a great presentation. And the third presentation is Roy Lichtenstein, History in the Making, 1948 to 1960. The Code series this is going to be really insightful. We're going to be doing this virtually, like everything else, but our presenters are really talented, well-known people in the art world. The first doing abstract expressionism is Norman Kleeblatt. He's the former curator of the Jewish Museum in New York City. The second presentation is by Catherine Morris. She's the Sackler Senior Curator for the Elizabeth A. Sackler Center for Feminist Art at the Brooklyn Museum, and Dr. Marshall Price, who is the Nasher Museum of Art Director at Duke University, will be doing the third lecture. So let me urge you to put these on your calendar. February 4th, February 11th, and February 18th, the Susan and Barry Coe February lecture series at Temple B'nai Israel on abstract art and modern art and abstract impressionism. It's going to be a great series. It's going to be informative. Again, I wish we could bring people and they could, have show and tell in front of us, but we can't do that yet. But I'm very grateful to the people who create the technology so we can have it virtually. So there's a lot going on in our congregation, in the city, and in the Avalon. We are really grateful to the leadership that has looked at our circumstances and said, we will deal with it as we have to and still not succumb to it. So I'm grateful for everybody's energy and insight. We are blessed. We are blessed by a really good group of folk in this city who have our best interests at heart. So with that thought, I will say thank you for coming to the Rabbis Roundtable, Easton. We will see you next time at the Rabbis Roundtable.